Dr. King said, a man can't ride your back unless it's bent. Period. And that's how I approach this business. I try to be amiable. I try to be cool, but I'm also a young man that has worked his ass off to get everything I have. I try to be pleasant. I don't believe in any of the isms, but you're not gonna punk me. It's never gonna happen. I will die first.
If there's one person who has had a dramatic life like the roles he plays, it's Clifton Powell. From a lawsuit that almost crippled him completely to a very public and nasty spat with top dogs like Spike Lee, being denied roles because he is too dark, being denied roles because he refused to play gay roles, and even his own family drama. Baby, it's been one hella journey for him. But was everything by design? Was he being set up to fail from the very beginning? That is exactly what we are going to try and figure out, loves.
Well, basically what happened was the producers told the director, whose name was Usan Palsy, that I was so dark that it looked like I would scare everyone. So they wouldn't hire me.
Okay, I know that a lot has happened when it comes to Clifton, but if you ask a lot of people, they will tell you that one of the things that greatly derailed Clifton's career was the case he caught back in 2011. The thing is, he was being sued by a woman claiming that he took advantage of her in a hotel room. The plaintiff in the case claimed that she agreed to hook up with Clifton Powell, but when things turned rough, she told him to stop, and he refused to stop and instead had his way. Apparently, she made a report to police, but the case was closed for lack of evidence. But the woman went ahead and filed the suit in federal court and was seeking $75,000 in damages. So at the time, Clifton strongly denied the accusations, calling them false, and even planned on pursuing all legal remedies available to him against his accuser. Fortunately for him, a judge vacated a default judgment against him after the court found that the woman had inconsistencies in her story and that Powell was never properly served with the lawsuit in the first place. But let's be honest, Hollywood has never been known for being forgiving, especially when it comes to scandal, and for Clifton Powell, that 2011 case definitely left a nasty taste in people's mouths. Well, years later, he did say that as much as the allegation was behind him, the case cost him dearly and he was trying to mend fences in Hollywood. But we also know that in Hollywood, once your name is tied to a scandal, people start distancing themselves real quick. Studios get hesitant, casting directors go quiet, and suddenly, the phone that used to ring nonstop just stops. Basically, for Clifton, his career became more about trying to prove to people that he was innocent from the beginning. And I personally see how that may have affected the trajectory of his career. And as if he wasn't going through it enough, he also had some misunderstandings with people who call the shots in Hollywood, like Spike Lee. Specifically, he talked about Lee in an old interview on the Russ Parr Morning Show in 2011, where he spoke in explicit terms about his disdain for him. Back then, he said, "I don't like Spike. I have never said it publicly, but Spike is a hater. He was doing all these movies. Sam and all these guys know he's a hater. He kept all the money. There was lawsuits against him. Spike needs to go sit his punk behind down and stop talking about Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry was homeless about 10, 12 years ago, and Spike wasn't writing him no checks. I don't like Spike Lee because I don't like his politics as it pertains to how he deals with African Americans. I auditioned for Spike several times. He kept all of us waiting for hours. It was insulting. He made people fly across country, pay for themselves, and come to auditions. Spike is the worst, and he needs to go sit his punk behind down. He has never hired me. I don't really care because I would never want to work with him. Tyler has found his genre." Guess what? It's been 15 years later, and Clifton still shares the same sentiments about Spike Lee, and according to him, his concerns stem from what he views as questionable practices when it comes to working with actors.
I said what I said, and I stand by what I said. Go read about it. And a lot of y'all don't have the facts. But if you go research and ask some actors the kind of business that he did, you'll be able to make a determination for yourself.
He went on to clarify that while he doesn't dislike Lee anymore, he's still not a fan of some of his business practices. Then he pushed back against people saying that he was being negative about Lee and argued that they ought to do their research like he had before they speak. Powell then went on to say that he stands by his critiques of Lee, regardless of how others feel. He also said that his comments towards Lee were prompted by his comments about Tyler Perry from 2009, in which he labeled Tyler Perry's work as coonery and buffoonery. According According to him, Lee should have expressed his sentiments to Tyler Perry privately and not out in public. I know, it's a bit hypocritical considering he did the same thing, but Clifton also checked himself for calling out Lee and putting his problems with him out in the public instead of addressing them privately. Now, I don't know what Clifton was thinking when having this very public spat, but one thing I know about Hollywood is that you don't come for people like Spike Lee without consequences. I mean, this is someone with enough influence to get Clifton blacklisted, and if word on the street is anything to go by, he possibly did block him from landing some top roles. However, other than this, another thing that people have said may have affected Clifton's career is his pickiness with roles. Okay, we all know that Clifton's work in film and television dates all the way back to the early 1980s, and he's been in a number of top shows including cultural classics like House Party, Menace II Society, Dead Presidents, Rush Hour, Next Friday, Norbit plus guest TV spots on Martin Moshe, NYPD Blue, The Boondocks, Saints and Sinners, and so much more. Like, this guy has been working over these past few decades, but one role you'll never catch him playing is a gay character. Baby, it's not that he has anything against the community, by the way, and when asked why he wouldn't play such a role, he simply said, "I'm not homophobic. I have no problems with transgender people or gay people. I don't care what color they are. I'm not sexist or or any of that, but I have boundaries for me as a person, which make me uncomfortable or comfortable that I just don't cross. It's not militant, it's just some things that I'm not comfortable with. I commend actors who can handle that inside their psyche. I'm not wired that way. And you want to know how serious he is about never playing a gay role? Clifton literally scoffed at the idea of playing the title role in a perceived biopic based on infamous Washington, D.C. gangster Wayne Silk Perry, based on reports that he may have been bi.
A guy out of D.C. named Wayne Perry, who was bisexual. He was a gangster, biggest killer in DC. I just read about him. I wouldn't play him because there's a scene where one guy walks in and sees him having with a man, and I'm not doing it. But they may come and say, man, but we needed a guy that's rough and tough and can play those rough and tough roles. I'm not doing that.
Okay, I get that people in Clifton's age group and generation may very well agree with his stance, but it does leave room for question when considering he was willing to play a drunk PDF in 2004's Woman Thou Art Loosed, jealous-ridden street thug Chauncey in the 1993 classic Menace II Society, the truly deceitful character Cuddy 2 years later in Dead Presidents, and promoting pimp culture by playing Pinky in Next Friday. But playing a gay role is where he draws the line? I guess morality is in the eye of the beholder. Anywho, some people have speculated that him saying such things may have contributed to him not being a bigger star than he should have been. However, it's not just been about Clifton refusing to play certain roles. Based on what he said, he has also been denied roles based on his skin color, and as much as he said he does not like speaking on injustices based on skin color to avoid using the race card and receiving backlash from the predominantly white industry, the truth is that he has been told that he is too black for some roles. He reportedly said that producers have claimed his complexion would scare everyone, and that's why he didn't get hired for some roles. That's something. Well, Clifton noted that he had never publicly spoken about it before, but planned to include more of that experience in his book. He even said that the discrimination wasn't limited to film roles, it even showed up in commercials. According to him, during a McDonald's ad casting, a friend who was producing the commercial told him the agency thought he was simply too dark for the part. Clifton also referenced a well-known story involving another black Hollywood star, explaining that years ago, Wesley Snipes' white agent from CAA had received a call saying, "Don't send anybody darker than Denzel." He used that as an example to illustrate how deeply colorism still runs in the industry, and even said that if Obama had been his skin complexion, he wouldn't have been president. So imagine he's already battling bad press from that 2011 case, dealing with tension from powerful industry figures like Spike Lee, and now he's facing colorism on top of it. That's a triple hit that would derail anyone's career. And honestly, when you put it all together from the 2011 scandal, the quiet blacklisting after his fallout with industry powerhouses, the backlash over refusing gay roles, and the ugly reality of colorism, it's no surprise that Clifton Powell's career never truly bounced back. On one hand, he had the talent, the charisma, the range, and no one can take that from him. But Hollywood is a place where perception often matters more than truth, and once your name gets tangled in controversy, it's nearly impossible to untangle it. I mean, it's sad, but we also have to ask ourselves questions like, did the 2011 case permanently stain his image? Even after the truth came him out? Or was the real problem the politics behind the scenes? Those quiet beefs with power players like Spike Lee? Was refusing to play a gay character a matter of personal conviction, or a mistake that cost him valuable opportunities? And if Clifton had been lighter, quieter, or more Hollywood-friendly, would his story have turned out differently? I'ma let you be the judge of that. So how about you drop your comments and opinions in the comments section down below?